Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aisha and you're watching Samar News. Here are today's headlines. US President Donald Trump has met with executives from some of the world's largest oil companies at the White House to discuss Venezuela, saying he wants them to invest $100 billion in the country to vastly expand its production. Trump has named oil as the priority for his strategy for the South American nation, after US forces seized its leader, Nicolás Maduro. Trump said at the opening of the meeting that American companies will have the opportunity to rebuild Venezuela's rotting energy infrastructure and eventually increase oil production to levels never ever seen before. Meanwhile, Trump has said that the United States needs to own Greenland to prevent Russia or China from gaining influence there, intensifying a controversial push over the strategically vital Arctic territory. Speaking to reporters at the White House, Trump reiterated that the US must have full ownership of Greenland, rather than relying on leases or military access, to ensure its defense and keep out geopolitical rivals. The United States has seized the oil tanker Olina in the Caribbean, the fifth vessel targeted in recent weeks as Washington steps up efforts to curb Venezuelan oil exports. According to US officials, the ship, previously sailing from Venezuela and now flying a false Timor-Leste flag, was intercepted near Trinidad as part of a prolonged operation against sanctioned tankers. The move highlights escalating US pressure on Venezuela's oil sector following President Nicolás Maduro's capture. On the other hand, US President Trump has issued a new warning to Iran's leaders, as videos showed anti-government protests raging across the country, and authorities blacked out the internet to curb growing unrest. Trump said he hoped the protesters in Iran were going to be safe, because that's a very dangerous place right now. He warned Iran not to start shooting, saying, "We'll start shooting too." Protesters marched through Iran's northeastern city of Mashhad on Friday evening, as nationwide unrest spreads beyond economic grievances, with buildings and vehicles set ablaze in several cities. Rights groups say police have also fired on demonstrators in the south, while state television aired images of burning buses and metro stations, with one reporter describing the scene as a war zone, saying shops had also been destroyed. Iran has been largely cut off from the outside world after authorities blacked out the internet to curb expanding protests, with phone calls not reaching the country, flights cancelled, and online Iranian news sites only intermittently updating. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei accused protesters of acting on behalf of US President Donald Trump, saying rioters were attacking public properties and warning that Tehran would not tolerate people acting as mercenaries for foreigners. Air travel between Iran and several regional hubs is facing major disruption after airlines from Dubai, Turkey, and Qatar cancelled dozens of flights amid nationwide protests and an ongoing internet blackout in Iran. At least 17 flights between Dubai and Iranian cities, including Tehran, Shiraz, and Mashhad, were cancelled, and no official reason was provided. Disruptions were also reported on routes between Turkey and Iran. China, Russia, and Iran have arrived off South Africa's coast for joint naval exercises under the banner Exercise Will for Peace 2026, aimed at boosting BRICS plus maritime cooperation. The drills near Simonstown come amid global tensions, drawing protests outside the naval base over Russia's war in Ukraine. South Africa says the exercises focus on maritime security and economic stability in Southern Hemisphere waters. Russia has fired a powerful hypersonic missile overnight at a target in Ukraine, near the border with NATO member Poland, in what Kyiv called a new threat to European security that demanded a global reaction. Moscow said it had fired the Oreshnik missile in response to what it has described as an attempted drone attack on one of President Vladimir Putin's residences last month, which Ukraine has denied and the United States has said did not happen. Meanwhile, Ukraine's domestic security service says Russia's overnight strike on the western Lviv region will be investigated as a war crime. The SBU said an Oreshnik missile was used, targeting critical infrastructure near Ukraine's border with the European Union as harsh weather set in. That's all for now. For more updates, visit www.samar.tv. Thank you for watching Samar News.